This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. On this show, PMAC and you provide you front office insight into crafting a championship caliber team for the Chiefs. They are identifying the right pieces to possibly meld together to lead to success this upcoming season.
What it do, people? What it do? This is the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. And let's just get into the introductions. That right there, that guy over there, that is Philip, aka PMAC, the Mac. I am you. That's the letter, not the word. And we here for another episode of the War Room. And funny enough, we just ended this is the first episode post-draft. So
yes, it is.
The whole point of the War Room situation is to make sure that you are crafting a good game plan to go to war, basically, and go to war on these football fields. And so let's talk about it. What's up, man? How you doing?
What is up, my brother, man? And I wanted to say welcome, Chiefs Kingdom, to another episode. Another great episode of the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. I'm glad to be joined by you, my guy, my producer, my co-host, Thiz, a.k.a. you, the letter, as he said, the letter, not the word.
Yes,
as you just mentioned, man, the draft is finally over. And as you mentioned, man, as the term War Room, that's where they go to get these guys, as you just saw last 2 weeks. But also, it still never stops because they're still in the War Room crafting those guys they drafted, along with the other players that completes their 90-man roster mandate going into the mini camp series, the OTA series, then it leads into training camp. And there's a lot to like about this draft. This class could be just as good or better than the 2022 class that featured McDuffie and Karlaftis. And speaking of those two, Brett Veach, and we're not going to really do That's News to Me tonight, people. We're going to focus on one segment of news that's important, that plays into the role of this draft class in this upcoming season, as Brett Veach granted the fifth-year options for both players, Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis. Like I've been telling everybody, even the day they drafted them, those are your fifth-year options, which Brett Veach will buy time to iron out new deals for them, and that's what he's doing. And tonight, we'll be doing two segments focusing on and recapping the draft and how will it affect and impact the 2025 season and beyond. Several months of preparation and excitement will lead to the Chiefs' move from one Arrowhead drive this offseason with the rookie minicamps as they're happening now, then OTAs, then to St. Joe in late July to start training camp for the 2025 season. With that being said, let's get ahead with our first segment, recapping the 2025 draft. And you got anything to say before we get started?
Not really, man. I just want to get into it. This draft was really, really good, and I'm interested to see how this. I do believe that this draft class could stack up against that 2022 draft class.
Yes. Oh my dude.
What's the draft class that we got the safety in?
Brian Cook.
Yeah, what draft
2022.
class? That is 2022. Okay, I just want to make sure I got that right. Yes, that's correct.
Man, think about it, McDuffie, Karlaftis.
Look, man.
Yes, Sky Moore, but Sky has contributed at those times. Leo Chenal, Jalen Watson, Nazi, Josh Williams. You're not always
going to hit on every single pick that you make, but
exactly.
You miss on one. What's the problem? Like, you need depth anyway, so get your depth. Anyway, let's move on. What you got, man?
All right, so this is the 2025 draft recap. In some teams' NFL offseasons, the draft is the biggest news. That's hard to say, however, about a team that features one of the most accomplished quarterbacks in league history who is pissed off. Yes, you heard it from us. Patrick Mahomes is pissed off, and the world knows it. The signings,
he cut his hair.
Exactly, he cut his hair. And Xavier Worthy, too, after what he went through, but we ain't going to get into that. But the signings for a blindside protector, Jalen more, retaining Trey Smith in favor of Joe Tooney, and somehow manages to retain all 3 potential free agents on the loaded defensive front, Nick Bolton, Trent McDuffie, and George Karlaftis. Every draft is critical in a team's development, and this one was needed to address some particular issues on the 2025 roster so that team could return to the Super Bowl for contention. The Chiefs believe they succeeded in doing that and are welcoming the expectations from that run of early moves and this last 2 weekends draft efforts. So, the biggest draft news for the Chiefs arrived quickly with the addition of the powerful offensive tackle, who was my first prediction pick that the Chiefs, because 2 years in a row, last year I said Xavier Worthy. This year I said Josh Simmons, Ohio State offensive tackle Josh Simmons. KSC just managed to be in the right place at the right time to land the premier tackle and landing the ultra athletic Ohio State tackle they have coveted for some time. Simmons met the number one need on the depth chart, a left tackle. Even though they signed more, especially giving him time to heal and keep Mahomes upright to utilize the team's deep weapons. And that arsenal got even deeper with the selections of Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals in round 4 and SMU running back Rashad Smith in round 7. Royals is an extremely productive receiver coming out for Utah State with a natural ability to get open. He's expected to be the 3rd wide receiver along with the young duo of Rashee Rice and Worthy, also complementing Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster. Smith joins Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco in the Chiefs' backfield and is expected to be a versatile threat who can make an impact in the passing game and is also a productive kick returner. So what's your thoughts about those first 3 guys I talked about? And we will expound on them later within the segment. But what's your first quick thoughts on those guys? There's more.
For the first one, I mean, all accounts, by all accounts, we was going to pick Josh Simmons. But to be honest, he was my number 2 offensive lineman on my board.
That's fine.
Behind Connerly. I like Connerly. I like his style. I tried to think about. I couldn't get the Ariante. I couldn't get there because he got drafted super early. Ursery, the KC kid, right? I'm just happy they didn't go try to get him because me and you have talked about this in the past with the draft. We're going to get the KC kid. It hasn't worked out necessarily to this point. It still has the potential to work out, especially with the weapons we got now. But as of now, it hasn't worked out. So I'm glad they didn't go get the Ursery kid. I'm actually knowing people that are actually related to him. Anyway, we keep it moving. I am satisfied with the with the Simmons pick. Thoroughly satisfied. So don't think I'm thinking it's a bummer. It's not a bummer. He might have been my second on my list, but I definitely think he's a good player, and we'll see if he's a steal. Because by everybody's estimation, he was a steal if he gets back to health. But that's always a situation. But the thing about Brett Veach, he created himself a situation where he's not desperate. He already has the dude that he got from the 49ers, so you don't have to plug him in immediately. You can plug him in a year, later in the year, whenever, next year. You can do whatever you want depending on his health. So I like that pick. I can talk later about the other ones that we talked about because we still got a lot to talk about. So we can talk about that.
Absolutely. So then the defense got some vital help as well. Before the Chiefs tabbed their 2 offensive weapons, they first dipped into the Tennessee well in the second round, snaring pass rushing defensive tackle Omar Norman Lott with the 63rd overall pick. Norman Lott finished the season with 26 tackles, 6 being for a loss, 5.5 sacks, a fumble recovery. His impressive movement skills for a 300-plus pound frame should be enough to bolster the interior defensive line depth behind Chris Jones. Norman Lott joins a group headlined by Jones, Mike Pennell, and former 2019 first-round pick Jerry Tillery. The first two helped the Chiefs lead the NFL in run defense and create one-on-one opportunities for an edge rush that produced 48 sacks per year since 2023. Norman Lott can learn from Jones while keeping the Chiefs strong in the middle when he rotates in. 2 picks later, the team picks underrated pass rusher Louisville's Ashton Gelati to bolster the defensive end depth, who started 3 of his 4 years at Louisville and finished, 2023 with 11 sacks, which ranked 7th in the nation that year. He was an All-ACC player that year. Gelati is listed at 6'3", 264. He collected 24.5 tackles for losses in his final 2 seasons with the Cardinals. And my favorite pick besides Simmons was the 3rd-round selection of the playmaking ball hawk from Cal, Noah Williams. That was one of the first names right after the Super Bowl loss I mentioned. Williams had a school record 7 interceptions last year, but he can also help in run support, cover pass catchers on an island, on the boundary, and sometimes in the slot, even blitz the quarterback like where some of our guys on the boundary does. Lastly, Oregon's linebacker Jeffrey Bassa, 5th-round selection, addresses the dime linebacking position that the team was looking for, especially when fans were hoping Willie Gay would come back. Probably the most unsettled part of the defensive depth. He could do it all. He could also do well in run support, cover pass catchers in the slot, even blitz the quarterback, just like as I mentioned about that versatility. But it's Bassa that has that versatility. He is what Willie Gay and Ben Neiman could have been if they worked towards solidifying their status as serious NFL linebackers. No NFL roster is ever set, and the Chiefs still have much work to do on the field and in meeting rooms to turn their raised expectations into actual wins. But a newsworthy offseason has raised hopes, and the 2025 draft only strengthened them. Hopefully, the whole team can come together soon. So.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. You coming off a Super Bowl loss, which when you deal with that, you deal with the curse. And that curse is that you won't be back in the next year. Mm-hmm. Which did happen to us. In fact, that's what led the Bengals to be to prominence, to be honest with you, because they're the ones beat us in the AFC Championship the year after we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. So with these moves, you're looking to see if, you already got guys right now, but you're looking to see if you can bolster the roster to get us back to a place where we can probably get to the Super Bowl again. I mean, because Patrick Mahomes has never missed a championship game. Like that's just a reality. That's a reality that we're dealing with. He has never missed a championship, AFC championship game in his career. And we want to keep that going. But the issue is, like I said, the year after you lose the Super Bowl, you're not going back, at least in that first year. So we're trying to buck that trend. And my whole goal with this draft was to raise the floor. That was the whole thing. And that was my mantra for this draft. Raise the floor. Get better in every facet. Get your backups. Get them better. People get guys that can start. Maybe not now, but maybe in the middle of the season. And guys that can grasp onto your system and that can learn it real fast, because the NFL, it moves really fast. And so you got to make sure you're ready for whatever comes your way. And picking up Humphrey just for him not to play, that ain't going to work. That ain't going to work this season. It's not going to work. You got embarrassed twice in the Super Bowl, in 2 Super Bowls. You got embarrassed twice. So that means that teams are now looking at those 2 game plans to see how they can take down the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about just them. I'm talking about within your own division. The division got tougher this year too. Let's be so for real. The division got a little bit tougher. I don't think the Raiders are going to be anything anytime soon, but they're on the way. Don't.
Oh, dude, I was paying attention to the Raiders, dude. They really drafted, dude. Like they even took my guy Mello Dotson, who went undrafted out of KU.
Here's the thing.
Undrafted, man. I was like, no way.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I do not. It's going to be a tough battle. Like with the quarterbacks we have in this division, I don't think the Raiders will be up there immediately, but they did draft a quarterback. And then they traded for Geno Smith. So he's their starting quarterback right now. I think that limits a lot of what they can do because, they like to run the ball and they got a dynamic running back because they went and got Ashton Genty. They drafted him, but they're still behind. Like I said, all that they got Ashton Genty just so they can not give it to him in game time situations in the biggest situation like they did with Beast Mode. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, man, the division got harder. The AFC is going to get tougher. So you just got to realize that's coming. And so I think with this draft and potentially the UDFAs, I think we've raised the floor. And that was my whole goal.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I think we really raised the floor. Not just with the draft picks, man, but we raised the floor post the draft in the priority free agent market, dude. Like,
boom, baby.
That is it. You know, that's where Pete Carroll gets his bread and butter, especially doing it with the Seahawks. That's where majority of those Seahawks from the Legion of Boom and that team from the past, how you think they got their bread and butter and they got their name? They went after guys that nobody else in the league wanted. And that's what Brett Veach did. So that leaves us to say this before we get to our last final segment, which is our favorite picks of the draft. But we can't forget about the unknowns. We can't leave out the undrafted free agents because how does an undrafted player develop into an NFL star? Just ask former Super Bowl champions Malcolm Butler, Chris Harris Jr., Damian Williams, Byron Pringle, Michael Bennett from the Seahawks, a guy named Jason Peters, Adam Thielen, Turk Wharton, many more. Turk saw being overlooked in the draft process in 2020 as a means for motivation. And now he's getting paid by the Panthers after finishing second in sacks with the Chiefs last season. That got us back to that Super Bowl where we could have three-peated. So which players on offense, defense, and special teams have the Chiefs signed as being in the priority free agent market? And which ones can make that same impact like those guys I just named? So a few names. I was shocked that the team signed USC's Eddie I don't know. I'm gonna just call him Eddie the punter. He was the 2024 Ray Guy Award winner, and I'll have to get his name right. And if you're watching this, my guy, I apologize. I'm not good with names and stuff. But this kid was the Ray Guy Award winner last year. He's college football's best punter. And I think it was some team that drafted a punter, but they didn't draft him. And I was shocked, like, you chose a punter who didn't want the Ray Guy Award winner over another guy, like over this guy. Come on now. This is a piece of cake because this sets up competition between him and incumbent starter, the punt god, Matt Ariza. This kid helped USC rank first in net punting, which was about 46 yards per punt, and led the nation in punts inside the 20-24, while only recording only one touchback. One touchback. He boasted a season-long 62-yard punt against Minnesota and averaged 51 yards in a game against the Michigan Wolverines. His performance has been crucial in providing excellent field position for the USC Trojans last season for their defense. So he's a big reason why. And then Adam Thielen, if you remember, as I mentioned, he had a challenging journey before he became the lead receiver for the Panthers. He was not even invited to the combine, to being cut from the practice squad at the Vikings, but his hard work paid off in 2017 when he led the NFC with about 1,300 yards receiving and earned a Pro Bowl selection.
Yep.
I see the same trajectory for another receiver by the name of Florida wide receiver Elijah Badger.
Yeah,
Despite
his name's been going around Chiefs Kingdom.
I'm gonna tell you why. Despite the stacked wide receiver room competition, which might be the reason why he might not make the roster, but definitely practice squad. That's too easy. But you also got to include that you drafted Jalen Royals. Badger has the ideal build for today's NFL wide receiver. He has the impressive length, the great skills on the boundary. He does run a 4.6, but he showcases that great route running expertise. He's a technician. He takes pride in his route running. He's a dark horse for that final wide receiver spot against Sky Moore. And yes, my guy, Nico Remigio. Yes, but he'll need to fight for that roster spot. And last but not least, our last episode, we had Jason Dunn, former Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn, appear on the show. And he brought up one of the names of the tight ends he liked. And as we concluded that segment, I said, bring up one of these names because one of them will be a Chief. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did. They didn't have to draft this guy, but he had draft grades all over him. You know, Chiefs fans have wanted a skilled tight end similar to Travis Kelce. While you had guys like Demetrius Harris and Jody Fortson, who are undrafted guys, they both proved to be red zone threats. Some undrafted players like former tight ends like Antonio Gates, Jack Doyle, show that it's possible. I'm particularly excited about Clemson's Jake Briningstool, who has the Jack Doyle size, but the pass catching skills of Antonio Gates. He could have been a fourth-round pick as early as a fourth-round pick, since he can consistently get open and understands how to work and settle in space versus zone coverage, making big plays, showcasing his athleticism after the catch. While he can improve separating from physical defenders and man coverage, that's probably one of the reasons why, and also he's under 250 pounds. His ability in zone is promising, and learning from Kelce will be fantastic for his development, and he has a chance to secure the final fourth tight end roster spot against incumbent Robert Tonyan and another undrafted rookie, Trey Watson from Ole Miss.
I'm here for Briningstool. Yeah. I'm here for him. Like when you had that episode with
Jason Dunn,
I realized like there was two guys I looked at, Fadone and Briningstool. And Fadone was from
Nebraska.
Yeah. So and when I saw we were able to get him, I was like, okay, all right. Because he works well in the slot. He works well in the slot, which means that you got a big guy, a big target in
more consistent than Jody, bro. That's what I see. A more consistent Jody.
And that could be huge for first down / red zone potential. You got Royals, you got Briningstool. Hopefully, Briningstool. I'm hoping that there's a package that Andy Reid. I know it is. There's a package Andy Reid's thinking about with these guys, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm with you, man. I am with you. So how do you want to do this with your favorites?
I was gonna ask you.
All right.
How about we do one each?
Let's do it.
One, I do one. You do one, I do one until we get 3 each.
Let's do it.
All right.
So I'll start first. I'm gonna start off with so in the final segment of tonight, folks, it's part of this draft recap special. And yes, this time, the reason why I'm using that term special is the saying because we're not really focused on too many things, and we're just specifically focused on this segment right here. This is me as a black man with autism, because we should use the word unique. So let's say this unique episode. And let me just be real with that and say it that way. In this unique episode, in part of the final segment, we're going to talk about our favorite draft picks and why. And, we'll give our own opinions, especially about each other's favorite pick. And I'm going to start with Josh Simmons. Simmons, as you guys know, he's 6'5", 317. He missed 7 games in 2024 because he tore his ACL. But when he's healthy, He emerged as one of the most balanced athletic tackles in football. He is an excellent pass protector, but his patience and vision is what stood out to me on film. He timed his punches better, really good, moves with more grace to cut off the edge. He finishes his blocks with power. And Simmons may have been a top 10 pick if it not had been for the injury. Before his ACL tear, that film showed his ability to drive and redirect defenders in the run game. He's a natural athlete with good upper body and lower body strength, as you just saw on the tape there, as this showed, which shows his aggressive style in the run game, and it applies to how well he holds his own in the pass protection. He can get too aggressive, over aggressive sometimes, but he consistently gets to the second level and outside the box to reach defenders on outside runs. Simmons could be one of the NFL's best pass blocking left tackles when healthy. He has been, dogged by that significant ACL injury last season, which makes his status and potential worth questioning. But with just a year waiting like Mahomes did behind Alex Smith, the wait would be worth it. Just watch this. Just the patience in the pocket that he presents there. That's exactly what you want right there.
Again, he was my second pick, but as he was my second left tackle that I was on my list.
This is your Karlaftis right here.
But let me say this. I see a lot of Osemele in him, and that's the guy. When I saw Osemele, Osemele. When I saw Osemele, I was like, man, if you could find yourself a tackle like that, because he only played one game for us and got injured. The aggressiveness that he shows, I see in Simmons, and that's what I like. I love that about him. Let me rewind on the like. I love that about him. Again, that could cause him to get a little over aggressive, but I can take that. I'm okay with it. As he gets in the NFL and he learns the speed of the game, he'll be fine. So as I got into the tape more, I started more liking him more and more and more. So Simmons is a good pick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I showed both. I think I showed both. Let me show the set. That's the one I just showed.
Yeah, look at that, man. See, he even had number 4 on the opposite side confused, too, because of his size, man.
Yeah,
he's a demeanor. Just a presence alone. That's all you need.
Yeah. So for me, coincidentally, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. Let me go with let's go with Noel Williams.
All right.
So mine was Noel. Here's the thing. The Chiefs did everything. They went according to my plan. They didn't pick the exact same way I would have picked, but they picked every single position that I would have picked minus a safety. But however, Noel is a ball hawk. Safety style. He brings hits. He has ball hawking eyes. Dude is a 6 foot, 200 pound, 199 pound. Arms are super long. He's got 14 career interceptions, and half of them he got this past year. Come on now. Okay.
Why do you think I brought him up on the episode? I said, that's our guy right there, man.
Look, bro, because here's
a ball hawk.
Here's my thing. I never got to see Marcus Cooper, Marcus Peters. I never Marcus Cooper. No.
Don't bring him up, man. After that 4 touchdown game he allowed against Peyton Manning. Oh
no, not Marcus Cooper. Marcus Peters. I never got to see Marcus Peters with Patrick Mahomes, where he's taking the ball away, where he's looking to take the ball away. And sometimes I do think we get more in the mode of defending passes when we could take them away and give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes. Now, with this being said, I do think the offense will be different this year, and I expect to, like, the goal for the offense is to now keep going downfield. With that being said, I want to see this defense give the ball back to Patrick Mahomes as often as possible. You told me you wanted to see who I would compare him to. I would compare him to Denzel Ward.
Okay.
Denzel Ward. I don't know if you thought about him, but Denzel Ward from the Browns.
I know.
Uh,
Yeah.
he's a sticky defender that plays the ball. He plays the ball. Sometimes that could get him in trouble because you playing your defender, and if they know what you're looking for, the quarterback could really fake you out. However, when that ball's in the air, he's going towards that area. This Spags has a type. Physically, he has the physicality, and the range is what I gravitate towards. And this is the same thing I saw in Snead, and it's the same thing I saw.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I saw in Ward too. So, with that being said, actually, it's in Brashad Breeland too. I'm not.
I see more
Brashad Breeland.
breezy. I see more
Yeah,
breezy because of
Breezy
like
too.
I don't see him having the speed as Ward, but I see
No,
what you mean about skill set wise, absolutely. But
that's
he's
all.
more breezy. Except for guess what? Here's the thing, and I'm gonna mention that about him, man. Like you mentioned, man, he just proves that he's more than just hype, man. Like that production, bro. Got 65 targets going his way. He only allowed 31 of those catches, just one touchdown allowed, bro. And he
Yeah,
showcased those excellent hands and concentration, recording those 7 interceptions and those 9 pass deflections while being penalized for only 3 times. That's what he got over Breezy. He's more disciplined. A more
absolutely.
disciplined guy too, bro. And his
More.
height and his length enable him to match up with the big receivers while effectively handling smaller, quicker opponents, bro. And due to that performance, like as you seen here again at Cal last season, he's going to play a crucial role for this secondary opposite McDuffie. With McDuffie, Spags, and David Merritt support, he will have every opportunity to get better and build upon that and establish himself as one of the top defensive backs in the league today.
I see shades of all the past cornerbacks that have played under Spags. I see shades of them in him. Each and every one of them. Snead, Ward, and Breland.
I'm gonna tell you who my true comparison is. You're gonna love this. 2 players. I see shades of Stephon Gilmore and Trayvon Diggs.
I thought about mentioning Stephon Gilmore. But I saw Breezy in him, and so then I started thinking, and then I started realizing there's shades of Snead and Ward in them, so I just went with those 2. But yes, I definitely thought Stephon Gilmore. I definitely thought Gilmore for sure.
Yeah.
So,
All right, so I'll go with my guy here. So some fans were shocked when we chose Ashton Gelati from Louisville over Kyle Kennard, Ohio State pass rushers Jack Sawyer and his teammate JT. However, the Chiefs and D-line coach Joe Cullen are familiar with players like Gelati. Cullen worked with Terrell Suggs, who helped the Chiefs win Super Bowl 54, who helped Cullen's pass rush in Baltimore from 2016 to 2018. And the Chiefs had Melvin Ingram. And when I look at Gelati's film on tape, as you've seen here, man, he could be compared to our own version of Jadeveon Clowney. Like Clowney in his early years, Gelati is a relentless player, man. Who can make numerous plays in the backfield, as you just saw in that last play there. Last year, he was among the top college football players in tackles for losses. He has achieved this distinction for consecutive years. Watching him on tape is just truly enjoyable. And what does he have in common with, let's take out Clowney. What does he have in common with Terrell Suggs and Ingram? Terrell Suggs just barely 32-inch arms. Gelati has 31-inch 7 1/8 arms. Basically, he's at 32-inch arms. Look, just say 31 and a half, 32-inch arm length. Same arm length as Ingram, 31 1/4 inch arms. But despite the fact that those guys have that arm length, they are very strong, quick off the snap, and they use them sub 32-inch arms to convert that speed into power and pressuring quarterbacks. Gelati recorded 4.5 sacks for the Cardinals last season, but he was a player just like Noel that I looked at in the pass rush perspective. Just like you saw how Josh Sweat disrupted us in the Super Bowl. That's what Gelati is. because he had a 20.9 pass rush win rate despite having 4.5 sacks last year. He could be our Josh Sweat, disrupting the backfield of any opposing team, just like how the Eagles did to us. His impact was very similar to Jared Verse's impact for the Rams last year. That's the type of player that we need. Not the player that we want, but the player that we truly need. All right? There's a difference between wants and needs. There's a lot to appreciate about Gelatti's game. Firstly, he has a strong athletic build suitable for the position. He excels with his speed and quickness and his power, and his hand techniques are highly refined. Additionally, he's versatile enough to play off the ball and on the edge. He isn't yet an every down player in KC, but he could be a 3-down edge guy in either a 4-3 or 3-4 scheme, similar to Terrell Suggs. That's my comparison of him. He's a more athletic version of Terrell Suggs, T-Sizzle, who was the prototypical hybrid edge player. And before Micah Parsons, who the Chiefs they were expecting that from Josh Uche last season. That's what you're going to get from Gelatti. And I have to say this too, he's an upgrade from FAU. His versatility is playing up or down should enable the Chiefs to maintain the flexibility and aggressiveness they desire.
Look, man, I'm going to tell you why I like this pick. I'm going to tell you exactly why. I meant to show this pick thing, but Gelatti.
Oh, look at him off the edge.
You throw him in there with Nick Bolton. You throw him in there with Nick Bolton, I think you got yourself
and
something.
Look at him line up in the 3 technique too, bro.
Yeah, I think you got some ball hawks there, guys who are going to missile towards the ball. And I'm thinking about the Nick Bolton of the Super Bowl 2022 Super Bowl. The one who's all up in your face and forces fumbles because you're not expecting him to be there. And then you bring this guy in on a situational mode for now and then move him up as the season progresses. Man, I think you could have yourself some tackling machines out here. Tackling machines. So let me do that replay one more time.
Look at that stab, bro. That right guard did not have any time to get him.
He had there was a lot of tape that I was gonna scrub to get him, but I like these picks because it that one tells me exactly what you could get with him and Nick Bolton in the same lineup right now on the field at the same time. And the other one reminds me of, you know, your mobile quarterbacks trying to get to the outside. He can chase
relentless in the backfield, man.
He can chase them down. I love it. That's your Jalen Hurts. That's your Geno Smith. Those are your guys. Come on now.
Lamar Jackson. Josh
Allen is the biggest one I was thinking about. That's what I'm talking about. These are situations you got to think of. So I do like Gelatti a lot.
Yeah.
Mine. Let's go to my next one. I already didn't know. Let's go to Norman Lott.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Omar coming.
Yeah, man. Here's the thing about Norman Lott. The position is something I've been asking, begging, pleading with the Chiefs to draft early. And I think give Chris Jones some help. That's basically what I want. Defensive tackle help. And they did that with Karlaftis, but I thought you could do more for Chris Jones. And so when I see Norman Lott, I think that this is their answer. This is what if he hits, I do believe this is what they wanted Jarran Reed, they expected Jarran Reed to be.
This is who Jarran Reed wishes that he was, bro. I'm sorry.
I don't know that yet because I haven't seen him on the pro field, but this is what based on what I see here, this is what they wanted Jarran Reed to be. Somebody who can be a mainstay on the inside. He might not start with playing so many reps or whatever. He might start with just situational stuff. But as the season progresses, I expect him to be more of a mainstay on the defensive line. And then it helps Chris Jones to move wherever he wants to move on the defensive line, which means if he wants to be edge, he can be edge. If he wants to be inside, he can be inside. He can stunt. He can do whatever he wants. 6'2", 291, 33 and 3/4 inch arms, 10-inch hands, strong hands, which means he can be able to grab the shirts and all that, pads, whatever it takes to get these quarterbacks down. So and he's pretty decent at the run. So I expect to see big things out of Norman Lott, and I think it's about time. That's just what I'm going to say. It's about time that you draft, because I think the last defensive tackle they drafted was what was that?
Keandre Coburn from
years ago.
Years
I
ago,
don't know. Yeah. So it just wasn't a high prospect. Then you wasn't expecting to see him make it. If he was going to hit, it was going to be later on in his career. But that didn't happen. So yes, Norman Lott is my pick.
Yeah. And I'm gonna just say this: he reminds me a lot of Jalen Carter.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say.
He explodes off the line. Plays for the offense gets into the offense by shooting those gaps, disrupting their plans, making things harder for the opposing offense. His lateral mobility allows him to play multiple gaps against the run with a strong pad level and just sturdy anchoring. He helps his teammates tackle the ball carrier. His explosiveness, his strength make him difficult to block, even in double teams. His swim move is just deadly, bro. His technical hand usage counters offensive linemen effectively. He closes in on the quarterback very quickly, brings them down. He can also knock down passes at the line if he can't reach the passer. Pairing Norman Lott with Chris Jones will terrify opposing offenses, especially in passing situations. His addition to the Chiefs' young defense will relieve some pressure on the edge rushers and improve the unit overall, in my opinion.
My pro comparison was Calais Campbell, because he might not be the physical presence, like the physical show of Calais Campbell, but what I see is a guy that's going to be present in the pass rush, and he's going to be more than present in the rush capabilities, stopping the run as well. So that's what I got.
All right.
Who's your last one?
My last one, and I'm gonna let you have those last two before we end the night. Man, I can't wait to see this on a Royals jersey, because the Royals are red hot, and I know this now.
Yes, they are. Yes,
and
they
even
are.
the Royals even said this pick was a great pick, and I know they was excited about this one just like as I was, and the most Chiefs fans was, because this is a name that we kept on seeing before the draft process, and also even on day 2, even going on day 3, a top 10 guy that was available on going into day 3, and I was shocked that we were able to land him. This is also one of my favorite picks, alongside with the Noah Williams pick, along with Simmons, Norman Lott, and Williams, because they are premier players in their positions, including this next one, Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals. I see shades of Jeremy Maclin and Sammy Watkins when I watch this kid. Royals is an explosive athlete who can enhance a horizontal passing game with his creativity and stretch the field vertically. He effectively uses leverage in his routes and excels at being decisive in double moves, putting defenders on skates. He adjusts well to catches and extends at 6 feet, 205 pounds to secure the ball. His quick feet off the line of scrimmage make him hard to press against, especially if you're a corner and line up in press man coverage. He combines his footwork and his effective hand techniques at the line of scrimmage very well. He certainly fits the mold of someone the Chiefs have targeted in the past. The Chiefs offense has been compared to the Golden State Warriors of old, featuring Steph, Kevin Durant, Clay, and crazy ass Draymond Green, due to their ability to hit the long shot or just basically play off of each other. Adding Royals to complement Rice, Worthy, Hollywood Juju, and Big Yeti, Travis Kelce, is like adding another shooter to the lineup. Just look at this guy, man. Woo!
I like that one because he showed amazing body control in catching that ball.
Body control and aggressiveness.
Yeah.
See, AFC Championship game against the Bengals, as you referenced, Tyreek Hill, I won $30 million. You couldn't make that play right there. You couldn't be aggressive. If you could make the 44-yard play in Super Bowl 54, how come you couldn't simply close the deal and help us get back to that Super Bowl going against the Rams that year?
I'm not gonna go there, but
look, man, it's in the past.
Jalen Royals, I think Jalen Royals. I don't discourage your comparison pick because I do agree with that, but based on who he is, I think he's going to replace everybody's thought process for a guy we already have in house. What's the kid's name that's a wide receiver and he is like the 6th wide receiver?
Sky?
Not Sky. The fast one that we got from the Bengals. The Bengals drafted him. Everybody, oh, come on, man. I just thought about it when you were talking.
Jamar Chase?
No.
No.
It's our guy. Come on. He's real fast, and we all
John Ross.
Not
No.
Ross. Maybe he wasn't from the Bengals. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up. It doesn't matter.
Hollywood Brown, I guess. I think he was.
No, I'm not thinking Hollywood.
No.
He hasn't played very much. And then when he did play, he lined up in the wrong spot, and Patrick Mahomes had to.
Oh, Justin Ross.
That's it.
Justin.
He's on the tip of my tongue. I think this guy is going to be better, Justin Ross. He might even replace Justin Ross on the roster if he can pick up this offense in a way that shows competence, because that's my issue with Ross is he's been on the team and he's fast, but he doesn't to me he doesn't process the offensive plays like he should. Like he thinks about every move, and that's not something you want when you're going out there playing football. You need to be more fluid. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, we keep it moving.
Absolutely, keep it moving.
My last guy is Brashard Smith. I like this kid. I'm not sure he plays this season, but there's a potential that he might. If Pacheco looks like he's back, to be fair, he looks like he's absolutely back after the injury, and he should be more than healthy now. But and if all goes according to plan, Brashard won't even see the field this year. He might see it at the end of the season, early January, last game of the season, probably. But he's a former receiver, which means he has decent hands. He's a running back right now, so he's going to be back. He's going to be your all-purpose back. But he's a former receiver, which means you can use him in the passing game, which is something that I've been begging for since Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He might challenge Remigio, and let's not say challenge. He might go alongside Remigio early because I think Dave Tobe is going to really take a liking to this kid. But his lack of experience might get him in trouble in his first year. So I expect them to put him in a specific role and he grows in it over time. But whether they do that or not, whether they put a strict time limit on him or not, either way, he's going to have to grow a little bit. Like experientially, he's going to have to grow because he doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of experience in college. He reminds me a lot of, come on. Why did I not write it down? He reminds me a lot of Brad Smith when he came out of Mizzou. Became a receiver. He reminds me a lot of him.
I'll do you one better. Darren Sproles.
I thought about going with I thought about going with either Darren Sproles or the other case, the K-State. No, that's Darren Sproles' guy. I also thought about going with the one that went to Tennessee, the one that went to Tennessee, the Titans, after he left here, but I can't remember his name. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I definitely see what you're talking about.
Yeah. I thought landing Smith in the 7th round was a steal, man. I mean, in our pass-heavy offense, his ability to plant and burst off makes him a prime candidate to, compete for playing time. I mean, it's got good low center of gravity for a guy who's 5'10", 194 pounds. Quick footedness provides him with excellent balance and acceleration, allowing him to change direction swiftly. But yeah, like you mentioned, like that experience. But the Chiefs love ball carriers, especially guys who could score every time the ball is in their hands. That's what you saw in Worthy. He could be like the Worthy of receivers, but he doesn't like to have that speed. Smith can be described with these 3 words: explosive, tough, instinctive. He has a dynamic burst, whether he's running inside or outside, like you see here. He has good vision. It shows the power to step through tackles like that. His contact balance is exceptional. Defenders bounce off his legs. And like I mentioned early in the show, a very good return specialist. Just watch his 98-yard return when he was at Miami last year. Just like, here's another example of that bouncing back. Look at that. Running inside, tough instinct.
Great vision.
Great vision. And also, this is the one thing nobody gives him credit for. This is one of the best pass blocking running backs in this draft class. Probably better than anybody, even better than Genty.
Yes.
Genty might be the best overall at the position, but this is one of the best guys. You were talking about Travion Henderson. Him and Travion Henderson are the guys with that size, but who are very good blockers. All Smith really has to do is just work on his ball security. If he just works on that, the discipline, and he'll be all right, man. That's why I'm not sweating it.
If he could, I think they'll work on that. If he could find a way to make sure he keeps ball control, I think he'll be on the roster before the season ends. Like, I think he'll be on the field playing decent time before the season ends, because I don't know if I have a lot of faith in Pacheco to last 17 games. Let's say that, to last 17 games, and then Kareem Hunt as well. So I think he has the opportunity to be on the field, but soon, I would say sooner rather than later, but let's say sometime late November, early December, just for situational stuff.
Right. And who's your last guy? And I know you wanted to touch on this guy.
That was it. Rashard.
Oh, that was it. You don't want to talk about Bassa?
Oh, I see. Here's the thing about Bassa. Here's the thing. I didn't do any film work up on him, but bro, I'm excited about Bassa.
I was shocked that we got Bassa because I actually thought we was gonna go with Devin Neal with that pick. But when they said Bassa, I was like, okay, actually, I'm not mad. I like it.
Yeah,
and he was in the 5th round. I thought he was a 3rd round guy, 4th round, but to get him in the 5th was good too. It's like, all right, Brett, he's hitting on him. So like Bassa, he has the size and the quick acceleration. He had 4.5 sacks and 62 total pressures in his college career. While he may struggle with block shedding as a pass rusher, he's effective as a blitzer, man. He has the speed to excel in coverage, has 4 career pass deflections and 3 picks. Built like a safety. He's an aggressive run defender who attacks downhill. Blockers can overpower him, but he shows the good mobility and quick hands to navigate through traffic. He does it so well. His pursuit is exceptional, allowing him to chase down ball carriers effectively, just like you see with Gelati and Norman, bro. And also know when he's on the blitz too. Bassa is just poised to see the significant playing time as the linebacker. And thanks to his athleticism and the potential impact on the defense, he's one of those guys that makes our rotation in the linebackers healthy.
That's what I'm talking about. And here's the thing. What I noticed with all of these guys, for their position, they have speed. Like, they're not slow guys. These are speedsters. So they can catch up to the ball. They can figure it out. And I think that we needed that infusion of speed in our lineup. So
yeah.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, Just want to tell everybody thank you for joining this unique episode of the War Room with PMAC. Recapping the draft, talking about our picks, and can't wait to get more content out there for you guys. And that's all I got for you guys for tonight. I will say this. Shout out to Sam Habib. Last week, my group, the Self Advocate Coalition of Kansas and the Kansas University Center on Developmental Disabilities, we hosted a film screening of the film Right Ahead. Sam Habib, last name Habib. He has cerebral palsy, and he also has a swallowing condition where he has to use a mobile device to communicate. And before I talk about the movie Sinners, and this is big for me because as a man with autism who was a disability rights activist, to see somebody who did similar to what Ryan Coogler did from the perspective as a Black man, but from a perspective of a person with a disability to shoot a film. This movie, Right Ahead, I recommend everybody to go see it. Just look it up, Ride Ahead. I feel like it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. And then also, I also watched the movie Sinners. I recommend everybody to go see both of those films. And that's how I'm just going to end the show for tonight from my perspective. What you guys say, my guy? And also, enjoy the offseason because there are going to be more moves to be made as we get this roster ready. And everybody get ready because you're going to be seeing some more fun things in Chiefs Kingdom because I'll probably on the next episode will come up with interesting storylines, just like the fourth tight end competition and maybe the punter competition, for example, and go from there. So, Thiz, you got anything to say?
Nah, man, I'm excited. I definitely came into this draft with a little bit of pessimism just because I didn't think we did enough. But this draft kind of gives me a little bit of hope. I do think we raised the floor on this one, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they mix and match so many different guys, and so I'm looking forward to it. Ready for Spags to see what he gonna dial up with all these fast pass rushers and all that stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So, with that being said, if there's nothing else, he's PMAC. I'm Thiz. This is the War Room with PMAC. Thank you, Chiefs Focus. Thank you to everybody watching, and we out. Deuces.
Yeah, deuces.